Every computational task eventually boils down to a single question. Given a massive collection of data, how do you locate one specific piece of information? If a system struggles to find a record, every subsequent process stalls. The speed at which a computer searches dictates the speed of the entire application. This diagram represents a data array, the most basic way computers store information. Here we have 5 distinct numbers. Above them are their sequential indices, starting at 0. Finding 30 means pinpointing its coordinates. The system must extract the exact index position, index 2. We are going to look at 2 distinct architectures for solving this problem: the exhaustive method of linear search and the highly optimized logic of binary search. The strategy a developer chooses here dictates the speed of everything the software does downstream. Linear search is the most direct approach. It examines a dataset sequentially, checking one element at a time. Looking at this flowchart, the logic is strictly procedural. Start at index 0. Compare the target to the current element. If there's a match, stop. If not, branch over to the next element and repeat. In code, this is handled by a standard for loop. It steps through the array index by index, evaluating the if condition until it either finds the key or runs out of data. Let's run a search for the number 30 in this 5-element array. The system evaluates index 0, no match. Index 1, no match. It finds the target at index 2. That successful retrieval required exactly 3 distinct comparisons to complete. Now, let's ask the system for a number that isn't there, like 60. The algorithm checks every single position, hitting the end of the array to trigger a not found state. Because the number was absent, the system had no choice but to evaluate the entire set. It burned 5 operations just to return nothing. A sequential scan is entirely at the mercy of the target's random location. If the data isn't organized, brute force is the only option. To evaluate algorithms, computer scientists use complexity analysis. It measures how the number of operations scales as the dataset grows. This array shows our best-case scenario. The target is sitting right at index 0. It takes exactly 1 comparison, giving it a constant complexity of omega of 1. If the target happens to be somewhere in the middle, the algorithm will check about half the elements. That yields an average case complexity of theta of n, where n is the total number of items. The true limit of an algorithm is its worst-case scenario. If the target is at the very end, or missing entirely, it requires n comparisons. This is big O of n time. Big O of n means the workload scales linearly. In an array of 10 items, that's fine. In a database of 10 million users, a linear scan becomes a massive bottleneck that paralyzes the processor. To bypass that linear bottleneck, we have to impose a strict precondition on the data itself. It must be sorted. Binary search leverages that structured order. Instead of starting at the beginning, it begins its search exactly in the middle. Watch this 7-element array. We are searching for 60. The algorithm targets the midpoint, 40. Because 60 is greater than 40, we know for a fact it cannot be on the left. The algorithm instantly discards that entire half of the dataset. It takes the remaining numbers and repeats the process. It pulls the new midpoint, 60. That matches our target, and the search concludes. The code handles this by dynamically updating a high and low boundary. In every iteration of this while loop, it calculates a new midpoint to continually slice the search area in 2. We can actually visualize this sequential halving geometrically. This diagram reorganizes the flat array into a binary search tree. The midpoint, 40, acts as the root, branching down to the midpoints of the subarrays. Searching for 60 is no longer a linear scan. It's a direct, downward navigation through the decision branches, from 40 right to 60. By forcing organization onto the data beforehand, we restructure the physical geometry of how the system navigates it. We can translate this physical act of discarding half the array into a precise mathematical sequence. Look at the progression. We start with n elements. After one step, we have n divided by 2. then n divided by 4, n divided by 8, and so on. The algorithm is forced to stop when it has narrowed the dataset down to exactly one final element. If we define k as the total number of divisions required, we can express the stopping point as this equation: n divided by 2 to the power of k equals 1. Multiply both sides by 2 to the power of k, and we get n equals 2 to the power of k. To isolate k, we take the base 2 logarithm, resulting in k equals log base 2 of n. That derivation gives binary search its worst-case time complexity, big O of log n. This is a massive deviation. Logarithmic scaling operates in an entirely different mathematical category than any standard linear progression. To see the gap between these two categories, let's test them against a benchmark dataset of 1,024 elements. If the target is missing or at the very end, a linear search will execute 1,024 separate comparisons. On the right side, binary search cuts the data in half repeatedly, finding the exact element in a maximum of just 10 comparisons. We can plot this trajectory. As total elements scale up the x-axis, linear search operations climb in a steep, direct proportion. Plotting binary search yields a massive contrast, the curve flattening out even as n scales into the millions. Linear search still has utility. If you are querying a very small dataset or receiving disorganized data on the fly where sorting is impossible, the brute force approach works. The table here outlines the trade-off. Linear search requires zero prep and scales at big O of n. Binary search mandates sorted data, but rewards that structure with big O of log n speeds. True algorithmic efficiency is achieved not by making a computer calculate faster, but by mathematically eliminating the amount of data it actually has to process.